KMS Scharnhorst was a German battle cruiser, sometimes classified as a battleship, that served during World War II. Her story is one of technological innovation, fierce naval warfare, and a tragic end. Built in the interwar period as part of Germany's naval rearmament, under the Treaty of Versailles restrictions, she became one of the Kriegsmarine's most formidable warships. Her service life was marked by several significant engagements that demonstrated both her strengths and the challenges faced by Germany's surface fleet. Design and construction. The origins of Scharnhorst date back to the early 1930s, when the German Navy sought to build new capital ships under the guise of pocket battleships that could evade the limitations imposed by the Treaty of Versailles. Her design evolved from the earlier Deutschland-class ships, but with a more potent armament and improved protection. She was laid down at the Kriegsmarinewerft in Wilhelmshaven on 15th June 1935 and launched on 3rd of October 1936. By the time of her commissioning on 7th January 1939, Scharnhorst represented a significant leap in naval architecture for Germany. The ship was named after the Prussian general Gerhard von Scharnhorst, a symbol of military reform and resilience. Scharnhorst had a sister ship, Gneisenau, with whom she often operated in tandem, earning them the nickname the Ugly Sisters from the Royal Navy. Technical specifications. Scharnhorst was designed as a battle cruiser, but her combination of speed, armor, and firepower made her an atypical representative of this class. She displaced approximately 31,500 tons, standard, and up to 38,900 tons, full load. Her primary armament consisted of 9 28-cm 11-inch SK C-34 guns mounted in 3 triple turrets, giving her a formidable range and striking power, though her caliber was somewhat lighter compared to the battleships of other navies. This choice was partially a concession to treaty limitations, but also a reflection of the ship's intended role in commerce raiding and fast attack missions. Her armor belt was relatively thick, at up to 350 mm, 13.8 inches, and her deck protection was comparable to contemporary battleships, making her a well-protected vessel. She was powered by 12 Wagner high-pressure steam boilers connected to 3 Brown, Bovary, and common-geared turbines, which gave her an impressive top speed of 31 knots. This speed made her faster than most Allied battleships, allowing her to choose her engagements and retreat if necessary. Early operations, 1939-1941. Scharnhorst's early career was characterized by both successful operations and technical challenges. Her first major sortie was the Operation Nordmark in November 1939, where she, along with Gneisenau, was deployed to intercept Allied convoys. This mission did not yield much success, but it provided the crews with operational experience. One of Scharnhorst's most notable early engagements occurred in June 1940 during the Norwegian campaign. She and Gneisenau encountered and sank the British aircraft carrier HMS Glorious and her 2 escorting destroyers, HMS Acasta and HMS Ardent. This victory was significant, as it was one of the few instances of a battleship sinking a carrier in surface combat. However, Scharnhorst suffered a serious hit from Acasta that damaged her forward turret, highlighting the vulnerabilities that would plague her throughout her service. Following the Norwegian operations, Scharnhorst underwent a series of modifications and repairs. Her bow design, which caused her to be wet in heavy seas, was altered to improve seaworthiness, and various mechanical issues were addressed. Operation Berlin, the Atlantic commerce raids. In early 1941, Scharnhorst and Gneisenau undertook Operation Berlin, a daring commerce raiding mission in the North Atlantic. Commanded by Admiral Günther Lütjens, the sister ships were tasked with disrupting Allied shipping routes. This operation was remarkably successful. They sank or captured over 22 merchant vessels, totaling around 115,000 tons. Their ability to outrun and outmaneuver the slower Allied battleships in pursuit demonstrated the tactical advantage of their speed. The operation culminated in a tense encounter with the British battleship HMS Rodney. Though no direct engagement occurred, the presence of such a powerful opponent forced the Germans to avoid conflict, illustrating both the strengths and limitations of Scharnhorst's design. The Channel Dash, Operation Cerberus. By 1942, the strategic situation for Germany's surface fleet had worsened significantly. With Allied air superiority increasing and the Kriegsmarine's battleship Bismarck lost, Scharnhorst and Gneisenau were effectively bottled up in the port of Brest, France. In February 1942, the Germans launched Operation Cerberus, a daring daylight dash through the English Channel to bring Scharnhorst, Gneisenau, and the heavy cruiser Prinz Eugen back to safer waters in Germany. The operation was a gamble, given the proximity to the British coast and the strength of the Royal Navy's defences. However, through a combination of surprise, speed, and coordinated support from the Luftwaffe, the German ships managed to break through the Channel, braving heavy minefields and constant attacks from British air and naval forces. The successful completion of the Channel Dash was a propaganda victory for Germany, but it came at a high cost. Scharnhorst struck 2 mines, and extensive repairs were needed once she reached the relative safety of Kiel. The final mission, Battle of the North Cape. Scharnhorst's final mission came in late 1943. By this time, Gneisenau was out of action, and Scharnhorst operated alone. Under the command of Rear Admiral Erich Bay, she was tasked with intercepting Arctic convoys supplying the Soviet Union. On 25 December 1943, she departed Norway to attack convoy JW-55B, escorted by the powerful battleship HMS Duke of York and several cruisers and destroyers. The resulting Battle of the North Cape on 26 December 1943 was a disaster for Scharnhorst. Outnumbered and outgunned, she was unable to close the distance to use her superior speed effectively. British radar-equipped ships maintained constant contact, while Scharnhorst's own radar was knocked out early in the engagement. Pounded by heavy shells from Duke of York, torpedoes from British destroyers, and repeated salvos from cruisers, Scharnhorst fought bravely but ultimately succumbed to overwhelming firepower. She sank with the loss of over 1,900 crew, leaving only 36 survivors. Legacy and significance. Scharnhorst's career, though ultimately ending in tragedy, was a testament to the skill and bravery of her crew and the challenges of naval warfare in World War II. Her sinking marked the end of Germany's capital ship surface operations, as by then only a few heavy units like Tirpitz remained. The ship's story highlights the dilemma faced by the Kriegsmarine: how to use its powerful but numerically inferior surface fleet in a conflict where the Allies held a clear superiority in naval strength. Scharnhorst's speed and power made her a threat to Allied convoys, but her relatively light armament compared to true battleships and her isolation from effective fleet support ultimately sealed her fate.